In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Askak, the Grand Senator from Malastare for the Revenge of the Sith line. Personally, I think this is one of the highlights of the Revenge of the Sith line. Of course, back in the day, we got lots more blink and you miss characters made into action figures from Hasbro. But these days, there's no way a character like this would ever be made, unless it miraculously wins a fan vote. So you grow to appreciate a lot of these characters that Hasbro used to make. So I did not get this character back in 2005. I actually got him around 2020, I think it was. Back around 2019 and 20, I was going through and trying to get as many of the senators for the Republic and the CIS as I could. And this was one of them. I probably paid anywhere between like $8 to $10 for him brand new. To be honest, I don't recall him being a peg warmer so much back in 2005. I distinctively recall seeing like Tarkin, Bail Organa, Vader's medical droid, the Polis Masson, a lot more characters like that than this guy. Although I do recall seeing him in retail, but it didn't seem like he lingered around as long. But perhaps he did in some areas, but not so much in my area. It's one of those characters where, as a kid, I was like, yeah, you just don't really pay attention to it so much. You want the main characters like Anakin and Obi-Wan and Clone Troopers and things like that. But even back in 2005, I imagine this was a character that appealed more to the adult collectors. And as I get older, you grow to appreciate a lot more of these action figures that Hasbro used to make and a lot of these characters. Similar to like Men of Tales, who I'll be reviewing next. So in Revenge of the Sith, he really only shows up in a couple frames, mainly when Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Palpatine arrive on Coruscant, and they are greeted with the entourage of all the senators and Mace Windu. But in Attack of Clones, he actually does get some lines of dialogue, particularly when they're in Palpatine's office, having a kind of an informal debate about approving the clone army. And we see Askak interject on Bail Organa. And then Bail Organa responds to him and says, unfortunately, the debate is not over. The Senate will never approve of the use of clones. And it's nice seeing some of these characters that we don't normally think of in positions like these get some scenes in the prequels. Of course, Gran is the same species as Reese from Jabba's palace. But we don't, up to the prequels here, we really don't think of a lot of characters like that so much in a senatorial position. So it's neat seeing the Gran here of what they're like at the political level. So I think a lot of nice sculpting work goes into this action figure. Seeing his facial expression there, he kind of has a little bit of a scowl, like, I can't believe they just did that. From my understanding, Askak has a lot more sympathies with Palpatine than he does some of his other fellow senators like Bail Organa, Mon Mothma, Padme Amidala, characters like that want to limit the amount of power that the Chancellor can wield. I think Askak is one of those characters that is all for giving Palpatine as much power as possible. I really like how they did his eyes as well. As you can see, his third eye in the middle here is wide open, while these two are more at a squint. Nice attention to detail. He does have his antennas up here and then his ears, and it looks like he kind of has some ears here as well. Very nice detail in that head sculpt. As for the rest of his outfit, I'm sure this is his regular senatorial outfit, but it's pretty basic, I guess. Almost looks like he has a coat with like a fur edging around it. Very nice detail. He has his vest here. What looks like a scowl or a scarf almost. Has his sleeves here. Has some nice detail around that. Have his hands. Some nice details. And then his pants. And then his feet. Definitely one of those action figures that you're not going to have them in a whole lot of dynamic poses, but a character like this you're just going to have standing in the background among all your other senators or displays. And you could have this guy blend in with so many other things. You could probably even put him in a cantina display even, and he'll blend in all right. In terms of his articulation, he's actually not that bad articulated. So he does have a ball joint to head, which has a very nice range of motion. Swivel shoulders, swivel elbows, a little bit of a different version of the swivel elbows. In fact, I would almost say those aren't elbows at all. Those are more like swivel biceps. But that's all right. And then he does have swivel forearms. He does have a swivel waist, and the waist sits up much higher than where the coat is. And then he does have swivel hips. And let's see, does he have ankle articulation? It's hard to tell. Let's take the stand off. Yeah, he does have ankle articulation. And it's on a ball point, it looks like. So pretty good articulation for this guy. Nothing in the knees, but that's all right. He doesn't really need it. In terms of weapons and accessories, he really doesn't have much of anything, but Hasbro did at least give him something. A rifle, which you're probably never going to see this character carrying a rifle ever. I don't know if he did or not. Maybe in the EU he did. It's nicely painted, and it's basically the same rifle that, I think this might be the rifle that comes with Bosk, actually. Looks very similar. And of course, it's repainted. More of a black color. And for the strap here, could put it around him, I guess, but him being a senator, like I said, he's not really going to be carrying anything like this. He's going to have probably armed guards doing that for him. But that goes back to why I was saying you could have this guy fit in with a cantina display, because you could just have him carrying this around and treat him like he's some maybe a bounty hunter or commodore that's smart enough to keep a weapon with him. And then he does come with a stand, which is the same stand that we've seen with so many other action figures. The Coruscant display stand, or mainly the Jedi Temple actually, but I think this is just branded for Coruscant in general. And he does fit pretty good on it. That's pretty much all I can tell you about Askak here. We'll bring out a couple action figures for him to be compared with. Mainly characters that are more sympathetic with him. I can get this rifle in his hand. So here he is with Senator Orn Frita. I know he's kind of a sympathetic to Palpatine. Of course, Palpatine himself. And we'll just bring out Mas Amenda. And they all look really good together. So would I recommend ASCAC for your collection? I definitely would if you're a fan of senators or background characters or anything of that sorts. Like I said, there's probably a less than 1% chance this guy is ever going to get made in TVC. I'm sure a lot of people would be on board for that. Maybe not in a high enough volume to get Hasbro's attention, but you never know. I wouldn't count on it though. This is probably going to be the only release we ever get of ASCAC. So if you want one for your collection, the Revenge of the Sith one is a perfect action figure, and it's not too expensive. But I'm happy he's a part of my collection. Great way to round out your Galactic Senate. Anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There'll always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all your support, and check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.